Alright guys, so I'm here at Harley Davidson by their demo truck. Look at all these demo bikes. Believe it or not, I actually rode every single bike in this whole lineup except one, and that is this one right here. Take a look at this. This bike is not for the faint of heart. This is a 1,000 pound monster. This is the CVO Road Glide Limited. Take a look at that beauty. Look at the seats on this. That is super plush. Super plush. That is quite the machine. That's pretty awesome. All right, so let's take it for a ride. These are always kind of tricky to get onto. It's kind of like my bike, where you kind of have to, you can't really throw your leg over this way. You kind of have to kick and throw it over. That's how my bike is. Ooh, it's very comfortable. Doesn't really feel like 1,000 pounds. All right, so we got some floorboards. Look at the little hole in the floorboard. That's kind of interesting. Everything's all blacked out. Nice. Feels like it's a neutral. All right, so turn it on right here. Turn the ignition on right here. Everything comes to life. Looks like we're in neutral. Pulling the clutch, hit the start. Typical for Harley Davidsons. One of the things that you have to realize between the Road Glide and the Street Glide is the Road Glide actually has a fixed fairing where you turn the handlebars and it doesn't move the fairing, where the Street Glide actually attaches the fairing to the forks, and when you turn the handlebars, it actually turns the whole fairing too. So the other thing that's kind of interesting too is a lot of these have like extra buttons. I don't know if you can put extra buttons in. I've always seen them just blank. I don't know what the option is on that. If you're wondering how much this baby costs, $47,899. That is pretty wild. Wow. Actually, I've never really read these little stickers before. So it has premium radio, ABS cruise control. Nice. Looks like this is the Wicked Orange Pearl. Yeah, interesting. I don't know, it has like flames on it. I love the flames. That's awesome. Looks like it has a little bit of rumble. You can see the air cleaner kind of shaking a little bit. All right, so the first thing I do before I ride, you know, the thing about this is the first one I rode all day that has back support. Back support. My back's kind of getting tired after riding 17 bikes, so the back support is welcome. So what I do is I pull on the clutch. Ooh, look, it has a toe heel shifter. Nice. That's pretty awesome. I actually injured my back once, and I had to modify my bike with a toe heel because I couldn't lift my foot. Long time ago, 20 years ago. First thing I always do is look at the clutch and see, a lot of these have like a one-finger clutch. It seems like it has the standard one-finger clutch that you see on Harley Davidson. Looks like the mirrors are a little bit different than, I guess they're standard Harley Davidson mirrors on this one. Not too bad. Looks like it has a big, huge pad for a foot brake. Has your standard air cleaner. It looks like it's standard on here. All right. So should we take it out for a ride? This is the last ride of the demo days. Pretty nice. Doesn't really feel like a 1,000 pound monster. Once you get it going, looks like the back brakes work really good in this one. Pretty comfy, not too bad. Yeah, one thing on these, if you bring it up to the stop sign and you start tipping over, if you get towards a certain point, you can't catch them. You just have to let them go because the weight of that fairing up on the top is a lot. All right, let's see where the shifter is here. See if I can operate this thing. So yeah, it's really plush, super plush. The seat is like sitting on a pillow. This is probably the softest one out of all of them. Oh, this is the CVO Road Glide Limited. This might be my new favorite. Of course, this is probably one of the most expensive. The thing I like about the road glides is it seems like they're a little bit more stable than the street glides, just because the fairing is actually attached to the frame instead of the forks, so you have a little bit more stability there. All right, so this is actually a self-guided demo. Wow, this is fast. Pretty fast. For a big bike like this, I don't know, the guy said 1,000 pounds? 1,000 pounds? I don't know if it's 1,000 pounds. Doesn't feel like 1,000 pounds. But it's pretty fast. Pretty plush. No vibration at all through the handlebars or the seat or my feet. This is like almost car-like. Almost like cheating. Almost like cheating. So we got a storm coming in. We got some strong crosswinds. This is like cutting through it pretty good. We might actually hit some rain coming up here. We'll see. On the last ride up, I actually hit some rain. Just a little bit, not too bad. So one thing I do like about it is that it actually has the speedometer and the tachometer in like a dial configuration instead of digital. Whoa. We're getting some really strong winds. Really strong winds that are whipping, and this thing's kind of cutting right through it too. So this is like the true test of this thing in the middle of a storm condition with crazy winds, and it seems like it's handling it pretty good. So the other interesting thing on this is the floorboards. Normally on a lot of these bikes, for me it seems like the floorboards are too high, to where it puts my feet a little bit uncomfortably too high. So on this one, it does bring my feet up to where it's pretty high on the gas tank. But the other interesting thing is the seat is higher than most, so it doesn't give you that uncomfortable angle where your knees are like up higher than your seat. It's actually a really comfortable position for having floorboards that are pretty high like this, like full floorboards. This thing is pretty nice. If I was doing a 10-hour drive, you know, riding somewhere, you know, going like to Sturgis, 10 hours, 20 hours, out of all the bikes that I've ridden, it would probably be this one. I think this is even better than the Ultra Limited. I thought the Ultra Limited was the most plush. This is pretty nice. This has a better sound, I think. Maybe a better position as far as the positioning of my legs and my seat. And of course, this actually has the back support, which is almost like cheating. I have to remember, I'm not in a car. I have to put my feet down up at the stop sign. It is really super plush. I can't believe it. Yeah. So if you've ever, you know, a lot of people will say, yeah, the some of the Hondas are really super plush. I won't mention any models, but yeah, these completely blow away like all the Hondas and everything. If you're, you definitely have to take one of these. The only thing is, I'd say a lot of people might be intimidated just by the size of this, especially if that guy's, you know, telling people it's a 1,000-pound bike. It doesn't feel like 1,000 pounds, as long as you keep it upright. Don't lean it over too much. Yeah, this is like fast. It roars. There's a lot of back support. Oh, it's plush, which is nice because I just came off of the what was it? The Road Glide ST, which is like the bagger racing model. And what's weird on that one is the seat was so uncomfortable. It was like a really super hard seat. I think it was like a racing seat. So that's the difference between different seats on basically the same bike on two different road glides. This one's just all decked out for touring. That one was like modified for bagger racing. So yeah, this one is super nice, super nice. I always thought if I was going to buy like a cross-country bike, it'd be the Ultra Limited. I think I changed my mind. CVO Road Glide Limited. So I think the Limited is actually an engine upgrade on some models, and sometimes it actually includes the travel pack on the back with the extra bags up on the top. This is definitely one of my favorites. I would say as far as acceleration, it's not one of the fastest ones. You know, one of my favorites is actually the Road King Special. That one's probably as smooth as this one. The one that I rode didn't have a windscreen on it, so it was, you had the full wind. But it was really smooth. And with both of them, that one seemed like maybe it didn't have as much pickup as this one. This one seemed like it's, even though it looks bigger, it seems like it's faster than the Road King. I don't know what they did to this bike, but it's pretty fast for being a big bike like this. The other thing I noticed instantly on this bike is that there's no buffeting, no wind that kind of bobbles my head around. I'm actually going to take it up. We'll turn around here and I'll actually get it up to like, see if I can hit 70 and see if we see any buffeting, because that's like a big thing on some of these models. And you can see on this one the windscreen's a lot higher, so a lot of times you can just change the windscreen. Oh boy, we're getting soaked. We're getting soaked on our test drive. Oh my goodness. Alright, so I want to pull into this parking lot up here, and I want to see how well I can turn this thing around in a really small parking lot. So we'll see how this goes here. I gotta crack my visor because I'm getting steamy. Alright, so I have all day to practice on 17 different bikes, my turnarounds. We'll see how I can turn this thing around. This thing is a beast trying to turn it around in the parking lot. A little bit more difficult just because it's a bigger bike. Seems like it's a longer bike. Like it has a longer wheelbase or something. I don't know what it is. Not too bad. I'd say you need a little bit more room to turn this beast around in the parking lot. Alright, let's go. It's really easy to ride, actually. It seems like it would be intimidating, but it's actually not that bad. Alright, so I don't want to accelerate too fast because it's starting to rain, and usually it gets really slippery right at the beginning of the rain. But so I'm at 60. Wow, that's crazy. It feels like I'm going 40. It's just because of how smooth it is. Now let's bring it up to 70, just for the buffeting. 75. Nice. 75. No really bad wind at all in this thing. So yeah, you could cruise the highway all day long on this going 75, no problem. No bad buffeting, or some of them have a weird wind. I've actually seen a couple of them where the wind isn't really bouncing your head around, but the wind's really loud. It's just kind of, I don't know what it is about the wind dynamics on some of them, but it's just really loud and choppy wind. On this one, the wind's really quiet. No choppiness. It's just like perfect. It's the ultimate touring bike for high wind on the highway. I'd say this is probably, I'd say as far as my #1 bike going on the highway, I'd say it would be this one. If you're gonna buy something for long distance, this is the one to get. It seemed like all the road glides were pretty nice, but it seemed like this one's especially nice. I don't think all the road glides are this smooth in the suspensions. I don't know if they upgraded the suspension on this one, but it is super plush. Pretty solid around the corners. Nothing to really complain about. The other thing about the corners on one of these bikes is a lot of your bikes that are really heavy in the top end, like with these big fairings, a lot of times the weight of the fairing kind of helps you go around the corner to where you don't have to push on the handlebars at all. Like on this, you barely have to push on it to go around the corner. Versus like if you're looking at the Fat Boy, you really have to push like 10 times harder than something like this. So this is actually easier to go around the corners, I'd say, if you're just looking at how hard you have to push on the handlebars. Easier than just a standard motorcycle, I'd say, just because of the weight of the fairing kind of helps you through the corners, which is an interesting effect. Alright, so I'm steaming up, coming out of that rain and the wind. And this is like, it's almost like cheating, because you're going 60 miles an hour and it feels like you're going 30. It's amazing. It's pretty amazing on this bike. It's not very often you'll get a bike like this that you can go really fast and feel really confident and really comfortable. This one, the Ultra Limit. You know, the funny thing is, a lot of people say that the Honda Goldwing is actually really good for the highway, but I rode the Honda Goldwing. I found there was a lot of choppiness in the wind. I was getting a lot of buffeting. I was kind of bouncing my helmet around. On that one, you can actually change the height of the windshield, but even at the highest position, I was still really choppy. And it seemed like on the Honda Goldwing, it would handle the small bumps, but the big ones, if you hit it like a big bump in the road, you could feel it really hard, which was, you know, it's pretty much ideal for like the really nice, super plush roads, but not too good for the rougher roads. Where something like this, it seems like it blows away the Goldwing. There's no comparison between this and a Goldwing. This is so much better. Alright, so this is my last ride. That'll finish off the Harley Davidson demo days, which is pretty awesome. We got pretty lucky, just a little bit of rain. Not too bad. Alright, so I've been driving about, what, 20, 25 minutes, something like that. And a lot of times it takes about that long to figure out if the seat's going to work for you. About 20, 25 minutes. And my seat, I can say my rear end kind of hurts from that last bike. But I'm slowly recovering on this one. It's still really super plush. So that's the hard thing, coming off a bike that hurts you. And then you get on pretty much everything else and you're still kind of hurting. But it seems like I'm getting better on this bike. I'm not hurting so bad like I was in that last one. Boy, that power and the sound, it's so smooth, it's so awesome. This bike is something else. Alright, let's see how it goes around the corner like this here. I might have to stop, put a foot down. I'm getting used to balancing these bigger bikes. It's a little bit easier. I'd say it takes a little bit to get used to. Kind of balancing out these bigger bikes so you don't lean them over too much. You have to be almost perfectly straight up and down when you come up to a stop. Otherwise you can kind of get in trouble on these. This has got a lot of pickup and go. This is a really fun bike. It's actually surprising because it looks so big and intimidating, and then when you get on it, it doesn't really seem like it's that big of a bike. I don't know, I'd probably buy something like a chopper for a local, just kind of scooting around locally. And then I'd definitely buy something like this for the road, you know, for the highway. This is definitely one of my favorite bikes. Maybe the number one favorite right here. I look at some of those used bikes. They look like pretty souped up choppers though. I like the loud chopper. Of course, a lot of those you wouldn't want to bring on the highway for very long. They would beat you up. But for cruising a long ways, yeah, this would be your bike right here. I kind of like it too that the handlebars are up higher to where you don't have to worry about the handlebars kind of hitting your knees. A lot of the other ones, it seemed like, kind of had a problem worrying about hitting the handlebars on my knees. That was kind of the big thing. Let's see. How about right here? Right here. Nice. Nice, baby. This bike is amazing. All right, so let's see how easy it is to get it into neutral. Oh, I missed it. I missed it the first time. I got it the second time. Some of them go right in the first time. This one, I think I could have got it in the first time. I felt like the gap was there, and it would have been a lot easier to actually put it into neutral. All right, so you turn it off here, put the kickstand down. Wow, that kickstand is like way out there. All right, so there you have it. That is the CVO Road Glide Limited 2022 Harley Davidson. All right, guys, thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.